Genuine versus malicious grievances. How to tell the difference. There is something about receiving a grievance that stops even the busiest manager in their tracks. In hospitality, we are used to being in motion. The rhythm of service, the demands of guests, the juggle of teams and rotas. But when a formal complaint lands, everything else fades. There is only this. Someone is accusing someone else of something serious, and now you're in the middle of it. Most of us learn quickly that no two grievances are ever the same. Some are clear-cut, some are confused, some are rooted in emotion and perception more than fact. And every so often, one turns up that seems carefully constructed, exaggerated, or deliberately harmful. The kind that makes you wonder whether it was submitted with genuine concern or strategic intent. That is the uncomfortable space we rarely talk about. The space where a grievance may be less about resolving a problem and more about controlling a narrative. And in hospitality, where teams work shoulder to shoulder, these situations feel especially personal. When process beats instinct, I have spent more than 30 years working with hotel teams across 3 continents. I have seen grievances handled brilliantly, and I have seen careers unravel because they were handled too hastily or too harshly. The hardest part is this. You often do not know what you are dealing with until you are halfway through it. So the key is to treat every grievance the same, not based on who submitted it, not based on how plausible it sounds, but based on what your culture and your process demand. It can be tempting to brush off a grievance that sounds petty or manipulative, especially if you know the personalities involved. But that is exactly where mistakes are made. When you shortcut the process because something feels off, you open the door to bigger problems. Unfair dismissal claims, victimization allegations, culture breakdowns, gossip that turns into distrust. The truth is, even when a grievance feels dishonest, you have to investigate, not just because the law says so, but because your response tells everyone else what you value. If you pick and choose when to follow your process, people stop trusting that the process is worth anything at all. Why this is different in hospitality. In hospitality, things move quickly. Conflict can spark in a second and spread before the end of a shift. We work in high-pressure environments where feedback is instant and public. That makes grievances more complex than they look on paper. A moment that someone shrugs off in another industry might cause lasting damage here because of the pace, the pressure, and the proximity. Grievances in our world are often emotional and relational. They are also visible. Colleagues watch how you handle things. Guests sometimes sense the tension. Word travels fast in back-of-house corridors. One mishandled complaint can shift the entire mood of a team, especially if people start to believe that certain individuals are protected while others are punished. What to do when a grievance seems false? Start by stepping back. Your first reaction is rarely your best. Focus on the process. Get the facts. Stay neutral. If someone raises a complaint, invite them to talk it through in private. Ask for details. Take notes. Let them feel heard. If the concern feels serious or unresolved, ask for a written grievance and share your procedure. That alone filters a lot. People who are acting in good faith will usually proceed. People who are acting out of strategy often do not want to put anything in writing. Then you move into the formal process. Appoint an impartial investigator. That means someone outside the immediate department wherever possible. In hospitality, this really matters. Our teams are tight-knit, and perceived bias can damage the credibility of the entire investigation. Keep it clean, keep it professional, and keep records of everything. Hold a proper grievance meeting. Give notice. Offer the right to be accompanied. Let them explain their complaint. If another employee is named, give that person the same opportunity. Resist the urge to speed through it just because you think you already know how it will end. Assumptions are not evidence. Even when you suspect malice, you have to prove intent, not just presume it. After the investigation, issue a clear and timely outcome. State whether the grievance is upheld, partially upheld, or not upheld. Explain why. Share the evidence that informed your decision. And make sure the employee knows how to appeal. If you skip this, even the most justified outcome will feel unfair to the person on the receiving end. If you discover it was malicious, sometimes, yes, you will find that the grievance was raised dishonestly, that it was designed to disrupt, punish, or manipulate. When that happens, you have every right to consider disciplinary action. But again, process matters. You need to run a separate disciplinary procedure, offer the employee a fair hearing, and let them explain themselves. Even if you believe they acted maliciously, you must follow the steps. Otherwise, you turn a dishonest grievance into a valid claim of unfair treatment. I have seen exactly that happen. Good intentions get lost when leaders bypass structure to act quickly. Always slow down enough to do things properly. Do not forget the impact on the accused being. The subject of a grievance is isolating. Even when the complaint is proven false, the emotional toll can be huge. I have seen high performers shrink after a grievance. I have seen team dynamics fracture. So do not just issue the outcome and move on. Meet with the person, acknowledge what they have been through, offer support, let them recover their confidence, rebuild the team around them if needed. Failing to do this is one of the most common mistakes I see. The grievance gets resolved on paper, but the human fallout is ignored. 3 things you must do. If you want to protect your teams, your culture, and your reputation, you need to do 3 things consistently. Follow your policy like your credibility depends on it, because it does. Never shortcut a grievance investigation because of who raised it or how it makes you feel. Document everything, even informal concerns. Malicious behavior often starts informally. Capture what was said, when, and how you responded. That documentation may be essential if the situation escalates. Support the falsely accused with the same energy you give to complainants. Grievance processes must protect all parties. If you forget that, you will lose people who did nothing wrong. In a nutshell, grievances are not just about process. They are about leadership. In hospitality, where emotions run close to the surface and pressure never stops, the way we handle complaints says everything about who we are as employers. Whether the grievance is genuine or malicious, your response must show fairness, confidence, and care. Not only for compliance reasons, but because it shapes how your people see you. When they see you stand still in the chaos, follow the facts, and protect the truth, they will follow you. And that is where culture begins.